guys, it's Cayley. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. If you are new here, my name is Cayley. I'm an online reseller. I go to thrift stores. I find items that are undervalued and I flip them on sites like eBay and Poshmark to make income. If you guys are interested in learning about reselling and you're not already, hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell down below. That way you get notified as new content goes live. In today's video, we are going to be talking about what sold last week on those platforms that I just mentioned. I'll share my sales numbers with you as well as some highlighted sales of some things that I think you should look for while you're at your thrift store. Let's dive into these sales.
Okay, so all the sales that you guys see here happened between July 25th through the 31st. That is a Sunday through a Saturday. In total, we sold 66 items for a gross sales total of $2,405.33, making our average sale price $36.44. In general, we typically spend between $4 and $5. Fees and supplies do vary depending on which platform you're selling on and our inventory of supplies. I'll pop up on the screen here what my eBay fees were just so you can get a general idea of what you might be spending if you're selling on eBay. On eBay, we sold 37 items. On Poshmark, we sold 27, and then we had one sale on Mercari and one on Depop. We've mentioned it in other videos, but we are trying to move away from all platforms except for eBay and Poshmark. But since we've already put in the work, whatever is listed on these other platforms, we're going to go ahead and just let sell off. It's just that we're not listing anything new onto these platforms. So I did have one sale on Mercari, one sale on Depop. I'll show both of those to you at the very end. On eBay, we sold just over $1,400 and on Poshmark just over $900. Between Mercari and Depop, we sold $73. I feel like I need to say this because we just keep getting questions about it, but the reason we are transitioning away from all other platforms is that we just want to put all of our focus onto the platforms that make us the most money, which currently is eBay and Poshmark. We'd actually probably eventually like to just focus on eBay, as that's where the bulk of our sales come from. That's where the most users are, and that's where the most opportunity for sale is. But for right now, we are seeing steady growth over on Poshmark, so I am keeping those two platforms at the moment. Okay, let's dive into some of these sales. On eBay, we sold this Fossil cowhide leather bag. I feel like Fossil is a very underrated brand in the reseller community. I notice that whenever I'm at the bins, a lot of people pass on Fossil bags. You can see there's a little bit of spotting on the inside, but otherwise the leather was in really great condition. One thing with Fossil I try to focus on is actual leather items. So wallets, handbags, we try to make sure that they are real leather because that really ups the value, and that seems to be what people are looking for. We have this one listed for $34.91. It sold on an offer for $29.67. I have been sitting on this hat for a while, but if anybody does sell hats, we're trying to move away from that just because it takes us out of our flow. So really we're trying to focus on the things that we list most often. So moving forward, probably also going to get away from hats, but I did have this one that I previously had sourced because it did have some good sold comps on eBay. Had this listed for $39.99. It did sell at my full asking price, and the brand is DPC Dorman, which is Dorman Pacific Co. This is a seagrass Western hat. I find that Western hats, kind of beachy hats, do really well. The men's usually do better than the women's, and you can see there was some medallion detail here. So I am glad I picked it up. I got a pretty good return on investment, but I definitely would say that hats are just not the bulk of our income. But if you are someone who likes selling hats, this is something I would keep a lookout for. One thing we do sell pretty consistently are handbags. This is a Ralph Lauren women's faux leather. So you can see it is polyurethane handbag. Ralph Lauren bags in general, no matter what the line is, tend to have a high resale value, even with them being faux leather. I would definitely say that I don't pick up every single one I come across, but almost every single one. So do your specific comps on what kind of handbag you have. This one was in really great condition, and I did see fantastic comps for it. This I listed for $39.94, and it did sell for our full asking price. I feel like the sleepwear section at the thrift store is the most undervalued, and a lot of resellers do not go to it, but we really like looking in the sleepwear section because I find all kinds of great pieces that everybody passes on. In general, I would say that vintage nightgowns, vintage robes do extremely well for me. This is a vintage slip dress. And whenever you come across this union made tag on the inside, that's usually a good indicator of something with value. Of course, you want to look up the specific brand if you've got one and the specific style, but I do find that this union tag tends to add value in vintage clothing. You can see that I actually put union made into our title. So the brand of this was Wonder Made, but I looked at it because of the kind of white lacy style that it had. It tends to be really popular, and some people actually like to wear these as just dresses or during photo shoots, so I keep my eye out for styles like these. Had this listed for $34.94, and it did sell at our full asking price. We sold these curtains, which is something we picked up at the bins. These are by the brand World Market, which we have had pretty good luck with. I did look up comps on World Market's curtains and also other kinds of home goods, and it tends to do pretty well. I listed these at $59.96, and it did sell for my full asking price. We did not sit on these very long, so I would keep your eye out for World Market home goods. This is an item that Nikki found at the bins and really brought back to life because there was a little bit of crud on the outside of this, and she was able to take it home, put some love back into it, and wash it. This is a Patagonia cashmere men's quarter zip pullover. Once she cleaned it up, it was in really great condition. And again, it was 100% cashmere. We had this listed for $59.97, and it did sell for a full asking price and very quickly. Here are a pair of cowboy boots that we picked up. I do recommend at least doing comps on leather cowboy boots because there are a lot of brands that bring really high profits. These ones were a pair of white Laredo boots. You can see there was a little bit of wear, but the main reason I looked these up was because they were pretty decent condition on these soles. They were the brand Laredo, which is a pretty decent brand. And they were that ostrich leather style. So those little dots you see are an ostrich leather. Had these listed for $49.97, and they did sell at full asking price. We recently picked up these Helmut Lang men's vintage distress selvage jeans. I say all of those words and buttonfly because all of those factors really added to the value of these jeans. Helmut Lang isn't something I pick up all the time or even come across all the time, and I actually didn't know that they made men's jeans. But if you look up the vintage men's Helmut Lang jeans, they actually have a really high value, and depending on the piece you have can go for a lot more. These ones sold on an offer for $70, which I was really happy with. I showed this in a haul video. A lot of people said it reminded them of Seinfeld, which made me laugh, but I picked this up because it was 100% silk and it gave me kind of Edwardian style, which I think is really popular right now. If you don't know what this word means, I would just look up Edwardian style or Edwardian fashion on Google Images and get an idea of what that looks like, because I think it is a really popular style right now with shows like Outlander being out. So I picked this one up strictly on style. The brand was Christie. Brand didn't matter for me. The fact that it was silk and had all those ruffles and bell sleeves is why I picked them up. This sold on a best offer for $28. This next one is a pair of shorts by the brand Smoke Rise. There are a couple different brands that kind of have this modern distress kind of wacky style. So whenever I see men's jean shorts like this, I usually look into them. Smoke Rise is one that I do think has a pretty good resale value. This one I had listed I think for $35, and we accepted an offer of $27. The next two are just a couple of J. Jill pieces. This is a pretty bread and butter brand for me. I sold this women's kind of tunic top. This sold for full asking price of $24.97. And then we also sold this really pretty maxi dress for an offer of $21.22. If you're not familiar with J. Jill or any of its lines, I would look into it. I come across it very, very often. We pick it up pretty frequently, and it usually flips quickly if you price it correctly. Moving on to some Poshmark sales, I sold this men's vintage Air Jordan. This is what we like to call the Jumpman. If you see the Jumpman, it is pretty popular, especially in vintage pieces. I kind of priced this just accordingly to what I saw on comps. I kind of had to make up a price because I didn't see any velvet hoodies like this. So I priced mine kind of high and accepted an offer of $40. If you come across this and it's a vintage piece, I would do a comp because some of this stuff is going for crazy money. Next is a sweater by Theory. This is actually kind of like a sleeveless cape sweater, but it was 100% cashmere. This is a brand that I would say, if you've got a nice material, can be worth quite a bit. Definitely in cashmere, these pieces do well. You can see it was called the V-neck cape, and this tag of Theory I think is their newest one. This one sold on an offer for $46. I wanted to bring this one up because bras sell really well on both Poshmark and eBay, and I can come across Victoria's Secret bras and bralettes at the bins pretty often. I would say they're not really worth picking up unless you're getting them for $1 or $2 or less, but they do flip very quickly and they're so easy to list because you can just throw them on a table, flip them back and forth and take pictures, and they're good to go. So quick profits on those. This one sold for $17 and it was just a bralette. This is a Harley Davidson men's flame shirt. I pretty much pick up all Harley Davidson pieces if they're in good condition. Anything with like flames or eagles does extremely well for me. This one sold very quickly at $25. This is a toddler jacket. I wanted to show this because there are some kids pieces that I think can be valuable. And I think in general, a rule of thumb I have is if it would sell in an adult size, that's kind of the things I look for in kids. So this is a Polo Ralph Lauren girls toddler blue quilted jacket with some snap buttons. Very popular style in adult and also in kids. This sold for $29. Next is another high sell-through rate item, but it doesn't sell for a ton. I usually pick it up at the bins or if I can get it on sale for $1 to $2. This is an Express Portofino women's shirt, and the style is usually right here on the tag. These sell very, very quickly for me. This one was just a green blouse and it sold for $20. Here's a brand that it was my first time picking up, but I had heard about it and I hope to find more of it. It's called Girlfriend Collective. High sell-through rate athletic brand. These were a XXL women's short and they sold for $27. The one Mercari sale I had were these pair of Merrell men's mock dark earth slip-on shoes, and we were able to find the style because all that information is on the tag right here. These did have a little bit of wear, but they sold very quickly at $38 with free shipping. And last time I wanted to show you was that Depop sale. Depop can be a place that, depending on what kind of items you like to sell, a very profitable place. You can see I've only sold 26 items, but I barely have listed anything over there. I usually try to stick to vintage or unique pieces, and I've had some pretty good luck over there. This is just a Victoria's Secret women's vintage lingerie black lacy bodysuit, which does pretty well on all platforms, but I moved it on over to Depop because I thought I could get more for it over there. This, I took an offer of $35 with free shipping.
Alright guys, so that is it for what sold last week. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up on your way out if you enjoyed this kind of content. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.